Gordon, you've been studying mattering now for decades. What has surprised you most or challenged your assumptions about how people build mattering in their lives?
I think it's when people don't realize that they matter, as we were talking about earlier, but also just how I like to change that around a little and say that people who've told me, like Jennifer Wallace, for instance, have told me that knowing about this concept has changed how they interact with people. The research really hasn't picked up on that yet in terms of how people have had their lives changed as a result of being attuned now more to the relational side of things as opposed to the achievement. But one thing that I learned, and this goes back and praise to my colleague Paul Hewitt and our work on perfectionism over the years, is that he said all along in therapy that perfectionists are driven by unmet interpersonal needs. And the achievement striving that's excessive that will end up maybe creating major health problems for them is driven by unmet needs. So, indeed, one of the unmet needs is the need to matter. And we need to get a better appreciation of how achievement and interpersonal are actually connected through the needs that are largely interpersonal. And there's now 5 or 6 studies showing that perfectionists of different age levels are ones that feel unmet need to matter. And it's like the striving is okay, if I do something spectacular, if I'm famous, then people will give me the love, respect, attention, and the sense of being cared about that I've been lacking all this time.
Yeah, and unfortunately, they'll reach that point and realize lie they've been told is going to hit them in the face.
Yes. Yeah. The
Um,
worst people off are the ones who actually attain perfection and find out that it didn't really matter to certain people that they really cared about.
yeah, and I just had a really good conversation with Lori Santos about this. She was put into this position like the one you were describing, where she got picked to live on campus in this big house, and she was in the middle of all the students, became the den mom at the time, and realized just how many of them were suffering from perfectionism, from overachievement, from feeling less than. And that's why she created the whole course that became Yale's most attended course in history,
Very
um,
familiar.
off the back of mattering, really, or seeing the
And
phenomenon of
also
anti-mattering.
feeling like an imposter, feeling unseen, and not wanting to share anything about themselves. And a lot of the other thing that I've talked about in this new book on kids is that the front that people put on, where they let on that everything's okay. And this is especially the case when people feel like they don't matter because there's a sense of shame about it. Maybe it's something about me is the reason why I don't matter. That's the sort of time talk to oneself that people have to stop doing. No, it could just be you're in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong people, or you haven't had a chance. You need an opportunity to show that you matter. But I learned very early on with students and was a champion of student mental health that they may look like they're doing okay and they're exceptionally talented and all kinds of potential, but dealing with things. And that's where I came up with the idea of individualization that you talk about students, but students are different. Each has their own unique history, unique set of experiences. And what might be how somebody got that way is totally different for someone else. And taking the time to hear somebody's story and to be responsive is one of that keys of building that sense of individual connection with somebody and realize that things are much more complicated than they seem on the surface at times.